Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, beautiful soul family, and welcome to Weekly Wisdom and Insights, your home for spiritually guided transformation and empowerment. I am your host, Dearjames, and together with the unseen, Spirit, Source, and Symphony, we look at the current energies, the intuitive wisdom and insights, and we go as guided. And as I keep saying, action-packed as always, and welcome, Kiki. So we are going to jump right in because there's so much to cover, and we are dealing with like three separate energies. The most recent, yesterday, was the cazimi of the Sun and Jupiter. It's followed by today, the Cancer new moon, and then tomorrow, Mercury enters Leo. So bear those all in mind as we look at these main energies. So with the numbers, we have conflict, let go, innocence, open, remember to be innocent, childlike. Small restraint, surrender, that we keep surrendering to ourselves, to a higher octave of ourselves. We're working with the master number 22, the most powerful master number. Grace, to accept ourselves and to keep evolving, if you will, through this empowerment. And then 4, and you're going to see how 4 is playing out massively. 4 is the number, is a foundation. So, youthful folly, try again. Again, to be childlike. Welcome, Deborah. And so it's this beautiful, powerful energies. Now, before we go to the astrological influences, I want to bring up the two different charts. The first one, this is the Cancer new moon. This chart is packed with powerful insight and information. And these two charts, both this Cancer new moon chart that is occurring today, and this chart, Mercury enters Leo. These two are really setting the stage, along with that cazimi between the Sun and Jupiter. And a cazimi is when a planet is literally conjunct in the heart of the Sun. So everything is burned away and replenished and so forth, renewed. So before we jump into the astrological influences, we're going to go to our main theme, so we'll tie this all together. Our main theme is casting shadows and light, a bright light in dark times. The bright light in dark times is Venus, Jupiter, and this Cancer new moon. And you'll see from the astrology and everything throughout the show, you'll see this. Shadows, it's this aspect here. So when Mercury enters Leo, things are getting hot. They're going to get hot. The Cancer new moon, hip, hip, hooray. So, welcome, Sue. So, hip, hip, hooray. The Cancer new moon conjunct Jupiter, and I'll bring this up and show it to you, a universally recognized expression of joy, enthusiasm, and celebration. So these two things are going on simultaneously. They're a day apart. So these two energies of this hip, hip, hooray, the Cancer new moon conjunct Jupiter, Venus. They are that light in dark times, a bright light in dark times. Then things are getting hot. Well, things getting hot, that's Mercury entering Leo. A situation becoming more intense, passionate, or even heated and angry. Someone or something performing very well and gaining momentum. As you watch the old collapse and cling, and it's that dragon that has been chained down, and the neck and the head, and it's just flailing and wailing. That's the situation that's becoming more intense, but both sides are. Both of these, the old and the new, so they're both becoming more intense, passionate, even heated and angry, and at the same time, one is outperforming the other and gaining momentum, the new. So with that, we have these aspects, and let me just go to, I want to talk about casting shadows and light. Welcome, Olivia. So casting shadows, to make people feel less happy or hopeful about something, to spoil a good situation with something unpleasant, cause something to be less good or enjoyable. The dark area that occurs when an object blocks light from a light source, to have had a bad influence over something that lasts for a long time. We can see the massive shadows, the collapse, the deconstruction, like we spoke about last week, the deconstruction from the patriarchal Piscean era, the worst of it, casting a shadow. But then there's a bright light in dark times, casting light. Casting light on something means to provide an explanation or new information that makes it easier to understand. It's like illuminating a subject, removing shadows of doubt or confusion. The phrase is often used to describe how new evidence, a new perspective, or a deeper analysis can help clarify a complex issue or problem. Welcome, Colleen. Illumination. Think of light as something that reveals what is hidden. When something casts light on a topic, it brings clarity and understanding to it. Clarity is our key word. We'll get to that. Explanation. It suggests that the information provided helps explain a situation or problem that was previously unclear. The ultimate goal is to make the subject easier to grasp and more accessible to others. For example, a scientific discovery might cast light on the origins of a disease, or a historical document could cast light on a previously unknown event. So again, our main theme in these times, and all these energies are going on simultaneously, casting shadows and light, a bright light in dark times. So it's again to remember, the Cancer new moon is that bright light, along with Venus, because it was the first thing that I heard. It's number one from the unseen, and it was the lyrics from Hall & Oates' Maneater. And they said, "Oh, oh, here she comes. She's a man-eater." This is referring to Jupiter, Venus, the Cancer new moon, because Cancer is the sign of the divine feminine. It's the hearth, the home, the heart. It's all of this. And so with that, this is from Hall & Oates. They said, Man-Eater is about New York City in the 80s. The song hit number one in 1982. It's about greed, avarice, and spoiled riches. But we have it in the setting of a girl, a woman, because it's more relatable. It's something, now that speaks for me. That was, I hit the brakes and I was like, yes, of course, because look at the height of Piscean patriarchal, this 2,000-year era, the demonization of the feminine. Oh, what we're talking about is greed and avarice and spoiled riches. But we placed it in the setting of a woman because it's, quote, more relatable. It's something that people can understand, is what they said. That's what we do all of the time. So, and yet from the unseen, what the unseen is saying is, and we've had this before, which I just love, Venus, 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 this Cancer new moon, the divine feminine, the matriarchal era, the Aquarian era, the we the people era. Venus, Venus, Venus. And then we also have this beautiful, it's about the sun, the moon, so divine masculine, divine feminine, and Jupiter. They are conjunct, less than 1 degree apart at this Cancer new moon. And Jupiter is the great benefic. So it expands and amplifies and magnifies what it touches, its position. So I absolutely love this aspect of, oh, here she comes. She's a man-eater. It's the mama bear. It's the divine feminine. Within all of us, it's not just, in a gender capacity, female. It speaks to that divine feminine within all of us. Oh, here she comes. She's a man-eater, because what does she come with? Nourishment, equality, grace, humility, love, compassion, empathy. Here she comes. She's a man-eater. And you'll see how that ties into number 6 from the unseen. Forces beware, be damned. The unseen isn't playing anymore. They're not playing around anymore. And then I heard the lyrics to the song from Olivia Newton-John, Let's Get Physical. Let's get physical in the sense of, we had this on the 11th of June, the show on the 11th of June. Physics, physical, physics, quantum physics, this change, but forces beware, be damned. The unseen is talking about mankind, because man hits, it's number 6, spirit and service. So here's man thinking they know better, not listening to their soul source connection, not listening to source, the way. And here they are, the unseen, saying, forces beware, be damned. Because they're going to be called out. They are going to be deconstructed, eradicated. There is a shift. There is a major shift to, again, an Aquarian, matriarchal, we the people era of empowerment. And that doesn't mean running roughshod over the divine masculine. It simply means to bring it all into harmony, into balance, to lead with your soul, not your ego, mind, personality, human. That's where we get into trouble. We want a healthy ego, mind, personality, human in service to higher octave, greater good, powerful energies. So let's look. So this is where, with the, Jupiter entered Cancer. It was escorted in by Mercury. Then Mars entered Virgo. The Sun entered Cancer. We're in the Cancerian, the solstice. The Sun-Jupiter cazimi was just yesterday. The new moon is today. And tomorrow, Mercury enters Leo. Now, let me go. Hopefully this works. I haven't done this in a while, but I just want to bring this up because I want to illuminate this natal chart, or the HOORAY chart. This is the chart for the Cancer new moon. Note at the kind of top left at about 11 o'clock is the sun and the moon. They're conjunct at 4 degrees, 7 arc minutes. Jupiter is right next to them at 3 degrees, 32 arc minutes. They're literally like 25 minutes apart. Mercury is just forward at 28 degrees Cancer. It's opposite Pluto. But the bigger thing is the 4s. So this Cancer new moon is at 4 degrees. 4 is foundational. Mars is at 4 degrees Virgo. You see that, and Pluto's at 3 degrees. Then you go over to the far right at about 2 o'clock, the vertex, Saturn, and Neptune. 0 degrees, 1 degree, 2 degrees of Aries. Aries is new beginnings. There's power here. Go up to just past noon at the top of the chart. You see Uranus at 29 degrees. That's that anaretic, powerful degree. It's in Taurus. And so let me just bring up this beautiful piece of wisdom. This is from astroseek.com. So Uranus is about originality, freedom, revolution. Uranus symbolizes sudden awakening, psychological breakthroughs, and the call to liberation. It reflects where we feel the urge to break free from outdated systems and embrace authenticity. Psychologically, Uranus challenges the status quo within us, sparking insight, innovation, and change. It teaches us how to align with a more beautiful, truthful, liberated version of ourselves, even if it comes through disruption, deconstruction, construction. Uranus and Taurus bring psychological tension between the desire for inner stability and the unavoidable pull towards change. These are often tasked with redefining what is truly secure, valuable, and enduring, not just materially, but spiritually. The journey often involves sudden disruptions to physical comfort, possessions, financial systems, which push us to innovate in the realm of sustainability and resource management. It's all about change, evolution, advancing. We've had this key aspect here, this image of advance. This is going back in preparation. The unseen through the shows of the Weekly Wisdom and Insights shows has been preparing us for this moment. And Uranus sitting at that 29th degree of Taurus. Taurus, this is from the Astro Twins. Taurus is a fixed earth sign, so it's going to be tangible. Fixed signs are the zodiac's planners. They want everything, including their rebellions, timed and staged to perfection. So this is all happening in divine time, divine order for us. And we have a choice. This is the point. We all have a choice as to how we rise to meet and greet the next greatest iteration of ourselves individually, but also collectively. I mean, the whole of the whole. And this passing of the torch from a bright light in dark times, this passing of the torch from Piscean patriarchal to Aquarian matriarchal. This is where we are. And this beauty of how Uranus in this chart is going to play. There's just so many you can see. I'm just bringing it back up one more time. In the sense that here you see there's powerful numbers, powerful placements. There's also in this chart what's known as a yod. And so let me bring that in. There's a lot of, and you don't have to understand astrology. I am not an astrologer, but I intuitively read the charts. And so there's what I hope is layman's language and terms that speak to what these as above, so below astrological occurrences, how they impact us. Are they're co-creating with us so that as we move forward, we are empowered by the wisdom, the knowledge, the insights. This is from Moon Omens. And they're talking about the yod between the new moon, Pluto, and Mars. And this is an explanation of a yod first. In astrology, the finger of God, also known as a yod, is a rare and powerful astrological configuration involving 3 planets. Yods are often seen as karmic aspects, suggesting lessons and challenges carried from past lives, from the past. We got here through 2,000 plus years, I mean through eons, but certainly the Piscean patriarchal era is from the past lives of 2,000-ish years. Yods also offer the potential for profound growth, spiritual awakening, and a deeper understanding. So there is this finger of God, a yod, that's in the Cancer new moon chart. And you can see it. We're using, the orange and yellow and the rainbow colors and everything because that new chart, conjunct Jupiter, that new moon, conjunct Jupiter, it's auspicious. It's the bright light in dark times. So here we are from Moon Omens. The sun, the Moon, and Jupiter in Cancer are forming a quincunx, or in conjunct aspect, with retrograde Pluto in Aquarius. Right now, Pluto is retrograding. It's going backwards. It's an illusion, but it's going backwards in Aquarius. Mars in Virgo is also quincunx with Pluto, which creates what is technically known as a yod configuration. This aspect pattern is considered an indicator of fated events and turning points in our evolutionary journey. We've just come off the heels of the solstice. It's summer in the northern hemisphere, winter in the southern hemisphere. It's this turning point. It's fated. This aspect pattern is considered an indicator of fated events and turning points in our evolutionary journey. The yod asks for a drastic transformation of our relationship with the planet at the apex, at the top. In this case, Pluto. Pluto's in Aquarius, not since the French, American, and Industrial Revolutions, 246 years, which puts us under greater evolutionary pressure. The status quo will not work. The old does not work. It's about innovating. It's about Uranus at 29 degrees of Taurus before it moves into Gemini. Fixed sign in Earth, or Taurus, sorry, is a fixed sign, and an Earth sign. And thereby we're going to move to air, Gemini, air. Quincunxes or inconjuncts are aspects of paradox and seemingly irreconcilable tension that is not immediately apparent, but rather chronic and in the background. And I love this this paradox. These two drastically different aspects are simultaneously occurring. Deconstruction, construction, construction, deconstruction. They're contained within one another. The quincunx between Pluto and the new moon challenges us to discern what is appropriate, to fully trust, and when to protect our energy or be more reserved. This is about discernment. This is about truth. It's seen through the BS. It's seen through the illusions. And knowing, listening, no, it's a knowing what's true, not what's hyped or spun or, propaganda, however it may come to us. It's to see through all of that. It's to listen to the unseen. And when to trust and when to protect our energy, when to be more reserved, when to be emotionally open and when to remain more emotionally distanced, detached. The Mars-Pluto quincunx reflects frustration and a buildup of intensity without resolution or discharge. During this time, we may experience strong desires that it may not be wise to act upon. There is a deep feeling of advance, of wanting to get somewhere, something new. And yet at the same time, this opportunity for discernment, responsibility, acting with care, or pausing, because action or inaction, they're both active. The Mars-Pluto, so it's this intensity and discharge and when to act. We may feel contrasting urges, impulses that are hard to reconcile or require a sacrifice that causes a feeling of impotence. See, it can be like there's this deep urge to move forward, and yet we may need to have patience, have grace. Grace is hexagram 22 that we're going to be working with, and hexagram 42, which is increase. So there's grace and increase. This aspect invites us into right relationship with desire and challenges us to practice holding, validating, and honoring our desires without necessarily acting on them. It's divine time, divine order. These days, we are becoming aware that our conscious desires offer us glimpses into our unconscious desires and our soul's evolutionary intentions. It's about our souls. It's not about our ego, mind, personality, humans. It's not about the material aspects of life. It's about our soul's evolutionary intentions. And finally, we are learning that there is a deeper reason behind our cravings and needs. And we are being challenged to ask ourselves why we want what we think we want. We're being challenged to ask ourselves why we want what we think we want. Purity of intentions is paramount. It always is. It is ever more so in these energies as we advance, as we move forward. So, and let's bring in our mantra. I am aligned with Source. And in essence, you see our soul self, this image of a human in lotus position, meditation position, if you will, illuminated by the sun, hovering over water. Water is consciousness. I am aligned with Source, with that deeper, higher wisdom, knowledge, sovereignty, divine essence of ourselves. This isn't sitting over land or standing on land, ego, mind, personality, human. It's all about consciousness, water, feminine, divine feminine, consciousness, soul source connection. I am aligned with Source. That is our mantra. As we move into, let me just see here, because it's number 4 from the unseen. So this, I am aligned with Source, because, and this is true every day, all day. It's especially true with all of these competing energies, and yet this profound shift, this moment. Everything's possible. Shadow and light. Choose wisely. So the unseen is telling us in this moment of casting shadows and light, and to our own, to individual selves, 8 billion souls on the planet, are we casting shadows or light? And how when we cast either, they accumulate, they magnetize, they come together. And so everything's possible. Shadow and light, choose wisely. Because we want to be aligned. A bright light in dark times. We want to be aligned with Venus, 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 the divine feminine within us. And Venus is the morning and evening star. There's a beauty in that beginning and ending. And then this beautiful, the sun, the moon, and Jupiter. They are massive powers. As above, so below, joining together at this moment to advance us, to move us forward. And so again, everything's possible. Shadow and light, choose wisely. So now let's move to astrology. No, I want to go to Chani Nicholas really quickly because I just loved this. And this is from astrologer Chani Nicholas, the weekly. It's her issue number 72. Big dreamers to the front. This week's new moon and Jupiter Cazimi are this year's top moments for envisioning what's possible. Everything's possible. We are talking about the best astro available for new beginnings. And because they're both taking place in the sign of Cancer, tapping into your inner mama bear wisdom is the power to move and the move of choice. So here's that, here she comes. She's a man-eater. And here Chani Nicholas is talking about, and because they're both taking place in the sign of Cancer, tapping into your inner mama bear wisdom is the power move of choice. Let radical care be your guide and make fierce protection your goal. It's a revolutionary and evolutionary skill to dream beyond what the world presents as options. It's to pierce the illusions. It's to pierce through all of the crud and the chaos and the establishment. Remember they said last week, walking the plank, desertion, the gig, the game is up, and this abandoning ship and so forth. What's about seeing through the illusions? Chani continues, refuse to limit yourself. It's time to plant seeds for the just, abundant, and nourishing future you want to co-create. Softness, the divine feminine, softness is our strength. And remember, in revolution, we spoke like silent revolution, peaceful revolution is far more powerful when we, the people, the masses, join together in this softness of strength. It's deafening. And she concludes, put your heart on the picket line. So this is about recognizing the age of Aquarius, the matriarchal era, the advance of humanity. It's now. Is the establishment, is the old Piscean patriarchal era rearing its head? Gnashing? Yes. Because the gig is up, the game is over. It's done. Time waits for no one. The arc of destiny is forward. So it's just simply about coming into alignment, because you're either spending your energy, your time, your money, your effort, your energy in advancing, or in essence, attempting to stop time or reverse time. Forces, beware, be damned. So the unseen speaking to humankind, man. That's not going to happen. The unseen isn't playing around anymore. So, and let's get physical. Physics, physical, like this is tangible change. Earth-shattering change, it's tangible. It advances us to a higher octave of opportunity, of being. That's what's on offer here. So let me just make sure, I wanted to make sure I've caught everything. Yes, so now we want to move forward to hexagram 22. Hexagram 22 is grace. Its action is to accept. It's all about humility, surrender to ourselves, to a higher octave of ourselves. It's never an external surrender, waving the white flag and you've been overcome in that way. This is about surrendering to your soul source connection, to the advance of humanity, evolution. Its hidden influence is 40, liberation, to untangle us from the past, or untangle us from the goo that we've created. And its underlining causes oppression, exhaustion, adapt. It doesn't mean quadruple down on oppression and suppression and exhaustion and everything, but you see that out there occurring. It's to adapt, change, embrace the new. So this is from from Carrie Hone at cafeosil.com. The master said, untangle the knots and soften the glare. This means when you stalk life with a scowl expecting difficulty, you will find it. Everything's possible, shadow and light, choose wisely. When meeting oppression, we had the opportunity to learn to adapt or make changes to better fit in with the changes around us. But now it is time to connect with your inner source of light. I am aligned with source. Grace is an attitude of acceptance that radiates outwardly as joy, regardless of what is unfolding around us. So this is that opportunity to adapt. We've been giving, this lead up has been a few years in the making, this transition. All about adapt. Adapt to the new. Let go of the old, empty the vessel, make space, make room for the new. So it's this, and this outward, it radiates outwardly as joy, regardless of what is unfolding. Anxiety and constant worry can make you unattractive both inside and out. You can cover yourself with nice clothes and possessions, but when the scowl remains, you remain unattractive. The hidden influence of liberation from worry is at the heart of Taoism, because when you are following life on its terms with an accepting attitude, you will discover more and lose less. This is about not holding on to things. It's not being fixed in a position. It doesn't mean be willy-nilly, but discernment. Go with the flow. You'll have a knowing. We all have the knowings inside that say, I'm being called to let go or to move forward or advance. It will only ever be ego, mind, personality, human fear that prevents you from doing so. So here this liberation is the hidden influence at the heart of Taoism. Because when you are following life on its terms with an accepting attitude, I'm going with the flow, I'm following the way, you will discover more and lose less. The greatest lesson grace teaches you is that no amount of outward adorning will ever conceal what is going on inside of you. It's not about the masks, the identities, the stories, the scripts, the labels, the material. We didn't come into life with those. We don't leave life with them. What we leave with is our actions, our energy. So this grace teaches us that no outward amount of adorning and all of those things, possessions and, masks and identities and labels and scripts and stories and all this illusion, it won't matter. It's about what's going on inside of us. When you want to attract others to you, begin within. Loving the self makes loving. Loving the self makes one loving. Accepting the way makes one accepting. When you have no preconceived expectations, you will open to the beauty of grace. It's important to have goals and dreams and hopes and desires and to go forth, but also to do so, to commit to them, but it's Jesus take the wheel, hands off the wheel. Let the unseen co-create, co-manifest with you. And with something or when something doesn't happen, perhaps there's something greater. Perhaps there is something unseen that is meant for you. So be willing to hands off the wheel and yet commit. So brilliant inner beauty is like a magnet that others can't resist. When circumstances are less than favorable, turn within and release the expectations that are making your outlook hardened. Take a breath and return to the moment. It's always about you're never lost, you're always somewhere, and you ask Source, the unseen, where am I? You'll hear an answer. You'll get a word, a knowing, an energy. You'll know exactly where you are, and then you can shift and adapt. You may have the opportunity for grace to shine down upon you where your wish is granted. So this beautiful, and it brings us to our first quote. Open what is closed. Light the darkness. Be a bright light in dark times. Open what is closed. Open. It's number, where is it? Yes, it's number 2 from the unseen. The magic-force within. Open the magic and the force within you. It's the divine within you. Open what is closed. Light the darkness. Because the ego, mind, personality, human can create darkness, worry and anxiety and fear and all this stuff. But the soul is all-knowing. Soul source, all-knowing. And I love this image of the genie bottle and the sands. The sands of time, the grains of sand like the stars, and they're limitless. Open what is closed. Light the darkness within. Carrie Hone at cafeosoul.com continues, fire at the foot of the mountain, the image of grace. Seasons can change gracefully or destructively. This is where we are. From Piscean to Aquarian, seasons can change gracefully or destructively. Either way, nature's behavior cannot be classified in terms of good or bad. It's all divine and neutral. It all is purposeful. It may be painful, but it's purposeful. We build homes in what was once a desert, irrigate our gardens during times of drought, and wonder why the trees in the hillside catch on fire. The seeds of higher elevation plants actually require fire for generation. In the image of how things are valued, and this is our second quote, the master said, the way is benevolent and excels on bestowing. Your soul, our soul source connection, source, the unseen, the divine, the way is benevolent and excels on bestowing. That is the case. It's always wanting the best of us, the best for us. So again, with these, this juxtaposition of energies, casting shadows and light, at bright light in dark times. We've got the Cancer new moon. It's most auspicious, conjunct Jupiter. It's foundational, it's revelatory, and so forth. And then Mercury, the messenger of the gods, tomorrow is going to enter Leo. Fire. So the messenger of the gods, it's going to get hot. Things are going to get hot. Passionate. Hot. On both sides. On both aspects. And yet there is a prevailing light, a prevailing source, a prevailing direction. That direction is forward. It's not backward. Now let's move into hexagram 42. And this is first from tarot.com. Hexagram 42 is increase. And Colleen is saying this cannot happen fast enough. I agree. There are many comments. Keep your comments coming in. Thank you. I will get to them and incorporate them. So hexagram 42 from tarot.com. Substantial progress and increasing prosperity are exhilarating and good, as long as you go with the flow and keep the interests of others in mind. Because remember, the divine feminine, Aquarian era, matriarchal era, it's about we the people. It's an inverse of where we've been. It's the soul source connection leading with, so the divine feminine leading with the ego, mind, personality, human, divine masculine in service to. When those two combine in that manner, it's beauty. It lifts everyone. I've got that and I'll bring it in a second. So like a river's whitewater rapids, periods of increase can be a short duration. It furthers one to ride the rapids now while the waves of opportunity are high. Leadership in times of increasing opportunity involves commitment to the needs of cohorts or dependents. By remembering that to lead is to serve, a leader strengthens their ability to bring about a lasting increase in prosperity. This is that moment of where you recognize that leaders are meant to lead by serving. Not hubris and avarice and all of these other shadow elements, but by serving the people, by serving the community, the company, whatever it may be. It lifts everyone. It creates lasting increase in prosperity. In a time of general increase, those who contribute most directly to the common good will achieve the greatest and most long-lasting rewards. Why? Because it endears people, others, to you. You're the wealthiest man on the planet? Act like it. Do things for the people, with the people, that lifts everyone up. That inspires, that encourages, that creates long-lasting prosperity and rewards because people love you. They become endeared to you. Anything less than that? Forces beware, be damned. The unseen isn't playing anymore. And finally, when opportunities for increase arise, very good fortune comes to those who act swiftly and boldly without falling into the trap of letting their actions be merely self-serving. When you aspire to a position of prominence, the most enduring strategy is to work to raise the tide of your entire community, company, or relationship, rather than setting out to swim upstream on your own. When the times favor prosperity and when leadership is in the hands of the broad-minded, supreme, the unseen, the divine, supreme good fortune is the result. Anything less than that, It's already understood and known. And I just want to bring this in because this is from Philippians 2:3-4. Don't be selfish. Don't try to impress others. Be humble, thinking of others as better than yourselves. Don't look out only for your own interests, but take an interest in others too. And this reminds me of the quote from John F. Kennedy, which is, "A rising tide lifts all boats." Hexagram 42 increase is speaking to this exact "a rising tide lifts all boats." Not one boat, or not someone's boat, all boats. And let's go to our key word. Our key word, if I can find it, where'd it go? There it is. And I love this image. So our key word is clarity. The quality of being clear, easily understood. The quality of being coherent and intelligible. The quality of transparency or purity. Freedom from ambiguity. The state or quality of being easily seen. And in the image, there are 5 light bulbs. 2 on the left, 2 on the right, not illuminated, laid down. The one in the center, upright and illuminated. It represents the way. The other 4 are the past. They're outdated. They no longer serve a purpose. Their life force has been extinguished. It is the passing of the torch to the center light bulb, upright, illuminated, the way. This is clarity. This is the way. This is the light of advance, the moving forward. So now let's look at Carrie Hone at cafeosoul.com, hexagram 42. Its increase, its action is to expand. Its hidden influence, and we've had this a lot, 23, split apart, to split apart from what no longer serves. It's decay, repairing what's spoiled, to regenerate. And its underlying cause is duration. Commit to the advance. Commit to the renewal. Commit to casting light. Like springtime, a cycle is beginning in which new growth will continue its forward march toward the apex of summer. Increase is a message about expansion and fullness. Like decrease is simply another cycle of life as it flowers, decays, and achieves rebirth. Since the time suggests increase, the universe is supporting growth while opportunities emerge to support your expansion. This is a massive, from the unseen, opportunity to advance, to renew, to regenerate, to innovate. Not to stagnate and be the same old thing. We've been there, done that. It's to advance, and the universe is supporting growth while opportunities emerge to support your expansion. So be willing to face your fears. Be willing to be more than where you have already been. Be willing. Say yes. No is a good word at times, but say yes when it's scary. Say yes. The wind is moving and dispersing the enormous creative energy of thunder below, and a time of flowering is at hand. The underlying cause of duration can show that after a period of commitment and planning, it is time to put that plan into action. The hidden influence of split apart shows how regeneration requires the ability to expand. Not only the ability, but the willingness to expand. Humans are, we get comfortable. We love routines. We like the safety. Cancer, we love the safety of our homes and everything. And yet, what might be out beyond our comfort zone? What's beyond? Because it's number 5 from the unseen. Number 5 is a peak moment in time, air quotes time, because time is an illusion. So a peak moment in time. And the unseen said, don't forget to think, play the long game. It's about chess, not checkers. As fun as playing checkers is, it's cheap and cheerful. It's momentary, it's fleeting, it's cheap and cheerful. Playing the long game, chess, that takes discernment. That takes knowing. That takes connectivity to the divine. There's a lot more there. It's commitment and planning. It is time to put your plan into action. The hidden influence of split apart flow shows regeneration requires the ability to expand. Therefore, a time of increase may also be associated with releasing any self-sabotaging thoughts that undermine forward growth. Pierce the illusions, face the fears. Remember, everything is energy. So fear is energy. Harness the energy of fear to propel you forward, because otherwise it will absolutely immobilize you, which means you're going to stagnate. It's about forward growth. There can be a balancing that is necessary where being too conservative is no longer working, and you may need to take a chance on the unknown. The opportunity for growth and expansion is surrounding you, and you need only take advantage of it while it is here. This brings us to our third quote. The wise detect and prepare for the sun's march across the empty sky. This beautiful solitary boat, remember the tide lifts all boats, and here it's lifting this. The wise detect and prepare for the sun's march across the empty sky. It's like a blank canvas. So you're prepared for the unknown. You embrace the unknown. You're willing to say yes. And to strike while the iron is hot, these auspicious to cast light, not shadows. You've got Jupiter. And that brings me to the point that, and we'll continue here, I'll wrap this up and then we're going to go to Astrology by Lauren. When decrease goes on and on, it is certain to bring about increase. When the moon's waning, so when decrease goes on and on, we're at the tail end. I mean, we are past, it's past its expiration point of the Piscean patriarchal era. So when decrease goes on and on, it is certain to bring about increase. Matriarchal, Aquarian. When the moon's waning has reached its zenith, it begins waxing. Because change is universal in all regularly recurring processes of nature, all things will reach a stage in which they begin to move toward their opposite condition. This principle suggests a transition toward fullness. We are moving, we are arcing up, the arc of destiny, forward. We only give credibility to observable phenomena, although more than 90% of our universe is comprised of the unseen. And scientists call this the missing mass problem. It's not missing. What's missing is our willingness to connect to it, to ignite it within, to listen to our soul source connection. So scientists call this the missing mass problem, this 90% of ourselves. It's the entirety of ourselves. Why are we only harnessing 10% of our capacity? Because we've been dumbed down, because we've been disconnected from source. Not religion, source. Religion is an avenue to source. But what we're disconnected from is our soul source connection, source, the divine within us. When you can begin to discern the movement of nature's unseen aspects, you can prepare for the opportunity that always arises after a period of decrease. The darkest and most silent hour is always right before the dawn of activity. A bright light in dark times. The darkest and most silent hour is always right before the dawn of activity. The void is often frightening, although it is pregnant with enormous possibility. We are literally on the threshold of such greatness that has been held back, held down by governments, institutions, people, because those are all comprised of people. Our own ignorance, our own choices to not cast light, to not connect to source, to not harness the 90% that is the unseen, to allow it to lead, for it to be at the forefront. So now we go to Astrology by Lauren, and she's speaking about the solstice and a new moon. She begins with a quote by Henry Ward Beecher. "The sun does not shine for a few trees and flowers, but for the wide world's joy." This Cancer new moon conjunct Jupiter, foundational of these fours, the 0, 1, 2s, the 29th anaretic degree with Uranus, the rising increase, it rises, the tide rises all boats. It's not, the sun doesn't shine for a few trees and flowers. It shines for the world's joy. Astrology by Lauren. The solstice, the day of the year when the sun enters Cancer, is one of the 4 sacred cardinal corners of the solar year. Memorialized by the Hellstone of Stonehenge, midsummer has been celebrated historically with bonfires to welcome in prosperity, fertility, and abundance for the summer months ahead. When the sun enters Cancer, we are asked to honor our roots, our heritage, the mother, the homeland, our ancestors, and the very roots of our being. This is that huge aspect of the divine feminine. There was something that flew in. It'll come back to me. But it's about this, the nurturing of our divine feminine. And it does not matter your gender, your fluidity. Doesn't matter. We all have divine feminine and divine masculine within us, equal parts. Now that may be out of alignment. It may be lopsided. So this is this moment of prosperity and auspiciousness that allows us to bring this, level it up, bring it up into harmony. Ruled by the moon, this year we also have a new moon in Cancer on Wednesday. It's today, the 25th of June, just days after the solstice. That was on the 20th, 21st, depending on where you are in the world. The moon, as with her home sign of Cancer, has an affinity for the sea, for the mother principle, as well as with the emotions of empathy, caring, sentiment, and feeling. And think about this. The summer solstice on the 20th, 21st, then the Cazimi, Jupiter and the sun together, shedding off what no longer serves and re-amplifying regeneration, followed by this Cancer new moon, followed by Mercury enters Leo. Things are going to get hot and things are going to get really auspicious. Like an anchor in a storm, our emotional foundation tethers us to a place of safety and security that we trust will not be shaken, no matter what happens, no matter where we are. It is a sign of connecting and serves as the foundation of the solar year, holding us together by connecting to each other through our deep emotional roots, through our common bonds, and a natural sense of community and belonging. And now I remember, it was messages, it's playing the long game from last week, messages from our ancestors. So we didn't arrive here by ourselves. We stand on the shoulders of giants. We stand on the shoulders of everyone who has been here before us. Honing, carving, polishing, pioneering, revolutionary, being revolutionary. There's all of this. And then this moment, the sun in Cancer conjunct the new moon, the sun in Cancer conjunct Jupiter, and revitalizing and renewing, re-energizing, reminding us of the joy of unity and being willing to move outside our comfort zones. Astrology by Lauren. New moons are symbolic of new beginnings, and the ingress chart for the midsummer solstice also sets its own tone for the next quarter of the year, with an emphasis on those things that support us, hold us, and make us feel safe. This year, both the new moon chart and the ingress chart are conjunct expansive Jupiter, daring us to think large and to grow beyond our previous expectations. However, we are also being asked to do so in a climate of uncertainty. It's square Neptune and under stern forces that aim to curb and limit that growth, Saturn. So it's see through the illusions. So there's a climate of uncertainty. We got to see through the illusions because we're stepping into the unknown. And then also this limit our growth because Saturn is still getting comfortable. It's like we've talked about. It's a new relationship, a new job. You're moving to a new city. There's a sense of uneasiness and fear and all of that stuff until you get it down. And then all of a sudden it's like, you look back and you're like, oh, I've got this. We've got this. Whenever planets straddle the cardinal cross, which is the Earth's axis, those planets have a much stronger influence over the affairs of humanity. Neptune at 2 degrees of Aries casts doubt and uncertainty about the future, can cast shadows, illusion, delusion, both globally and in our own lives. And when we are subsumed by the void of uncertainty, we tend to fill in the space with our own imaginations, doubts, and fears. That's when, should you find yourself doing that, where am I? Come back to center, come back to source. Ask where you are so that you pierce that. You move through the fear, the doubts, the imaginations, the illusions, and you're back centered. You're true north, upright. Saturn at 1 degrees of Aries, by contrast, like an authoritarian overlord lays down laws, the supposed twos, the rules, that seem to only add to the general confusion as we struggle to discern what is truth and what is posture. What is fear? What's posturing? These aspects are going on, so discernment. Discern, discern, discern. And it is in this and it is in this climate that Jupiter at 2 degrees of Cancer, the planet of growth and expansion, the planet of morals, ethics, justice, and inclusiveness, is asked to do its good work. I would say its great works. Within this context, it is helpful to note that Jupiter, which finds its exaltation in the sign of Cancer, has the edge. It has the advantage. It is larger because it is inclusive. It is more magnificent because its aims are for the greater good of humankind, the world at large, and life itself. It is a planet of hope, of abundance and fertility, of possibility. Looking at the charts for the ingress solstice chart and the new moon in Cancer, there is hope and possibility even in the face of extraordinary and uncertain times. A bright light in dark times. Like a glimmer, a flame, the Lord of Light shines ever more brightly this month with bountiful Jupiter at his side. It's because the life force, the sun, Jupiter, and then of course the divine feminine, the moon, they're conjunct. They're together. They're unified. It's this beautiful image. In the tarot, it's the sun, the moon, Jupiter. The new moon at 4 degrees Cancer, it's foundational, 7 arc minutes, 7, the fulfillment of God's word, of God's plan, on Wednesday the 25th is just minutes away from Jupiter at 3 degrees Cancer, 32 arc minutes, making this an especially fertile new moon for making intentions. And that is even despite its squares, those confrontational, friction aspects to Saturn and Neptune. And with an exact sextile, that's a harmonious aspect, to motivated Mars and Virgo, and a trine, another harmonious aspect, to the asteroid Vesta, who takes her oaths very seriously, divine feminine, another aspect of the divine feminine. This is a moon that dares to defy the odds. And so we may wish to dance, dedicate, and pay homage to the Lord of Light at this magical time of the year, to the sun, the life force. Heck, we've got that humongous gas giant Jupiter on our side. He's our superpower. We've got this. And she concludes, Astrology by Lauren, she concludes with 2 quotes. The first is by Arundhati Roy. Another world is not only possible, she is on her way. On a quiet day, I can hear her breathing. A whole new world, a whole new way of being, a whole new earth. She is on her way. Oh, here she comes. She's a man-eater. She's going to overcome man's shadow, humankind's lesser angels. And on a quiet day, so when you meditate, when you're just stillness, you can hear her breathing. We all know it's here. I don't care which side of the spectrum you're on. For advanced, against advanced. What's common, what's unified, is the awareness of the moment, of the energies, of where we are. That is why there are those that are for the advance and those that are fearing and cleaving and trying to prevent it from occurring. What's common is we all feel it, we all know it's here. And lastly, she also concludes with a quote from Maya Angelou. The ache for home lives in all of us, the safe place where we can go as we are and not be questioned. We should be able to, like the crab, we should be able to step out of our shells, bare our soft underbelly, our softness, in safety, in strength, in knowing. We don't need to force it upon anyone. We don't need to shout it from the rooftops. Just be. In that soul source connection state of grace, of being, it's a home that we all live in. It's a safe place where we can go as we are and not be questioned. The last thing from the unseen, which denotes the foundation of God's word 7, and they just said the word peace with an exclamation point and a smiley face. Peace. Peace within, peace without. We talk about world peace, be it individually, so that it collectively casts light, not shadow. Be a bright light in dark times. When all of those lights are being cast and they're being magnetized and unified and brought together in oneness, we the people, Aquarian, matriarchal, divine feminine, with the divine masculine in service to that, it's peace on earth. It's peace. It's peace within. That's where we are. So, cannot wait to see what the unseen has for us next as these energies just keep massively rolling forward. So until then, be kind, be good to yourselves, be kind to yourselves and others, and cast light and be a bright light in dark times. We'll see you next week.